My name is Alistair McBride. I run the Dealing with Goliath podcast, and I was lucky enough to have Dov Gordon on my podcast this morning. I just wanted to give you a few thoughts on that. I found him to be a particularly clear thinking speaker and guest who's able to communicate and convey his ideas very clearly, which is always good to have in a guest. But Dove is a unique point of view. So if you're looking for differentiation, he's very much the guy. He's able to clearly articulate that unique perspective and point of view. And as the conversation develops, it goes back and forth. He's a great fit for whichever style of podcast you do, whether it's very strongly interview based or much more conversational. He's able to ebb and flow with both, because at one stage I'm very question based and I get through some of the questions I need, but then at other stages I wanted a conversation to develop and to go back and forth and flow kind of naturally where the conversation was going to go, and he was able to adapt very quickly to both. At times, I said he was able to succinctly answer my questions, but at others, I thought when I could just let him speak upon something, a particular concept that he was talking about, a particular point of view, he could talk at length about it without any further nudging or any difficulty whatsoever. So, as I said, very coherent and well-argued points, but it's not just intellectual. There's a great basis of humility and indeed humanity, as well as mixing with obvious business insight and acumen. I mean, I know a lot of the people who are very much admire Dove and who look up to him and respect his points of view, and they're quite remarkable in their own rights. So, as I said in conclusion, he's a great guest and really a tremendous asset to have in your podcast. I was going to do a shorter interview, but under agreement just before we started, it went a lot longer. And I'm very grateful and glad that it did, because that's really where an awful lot of the gems came from. So as I said, if you're considering having him on your podcast, it would be hard to find a better guest. That's the bottom line. So thank you. That's just a few quick thoughts, having just interviewed Dove. So I'm Al McBride, Dealing with Goliath podcast. He's a super guest. Couldn't recommend him enough. Cheers.